very special guest with us today. We want to welcome Lorenzo Alexander. If you guys are not familiar with Lorenzo Alexander, he is a two-time Pro Bowler, captain, and he's an all-around good guy. Lorenzo played in the NFL, not for 13, but for 15 NFL seasons. We got that right with the Redskins, the Cardinals, Raiders, and of course, nobody circles the wagons like the Buffalo Bills. Lorenzo entered the league in 2005 and as an undrafted free agent with the Carolina Panthers from the University of California, also known as the University of Cal, and he went on to have a great career. Lorenzo played with the Buffalo Bills from 2016 to 19 and was even the Pro Bowl MVP at the 2017 Pro Bowl. I remember that. I think did you have an interception for a touchdown or something like that, fumble?
No, I picked it off and pitched it. My man got caught by Kirk
Oh,
Cousins.
it was a Keeb. Was it to Akeem?
To leave, yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. I'm a Broncos fan at heart too, so I remember that. I was happy about that. So everybody, let's give a warm, get as much as you can. Let's give a round of applause for Lorenzo Alexander. Lorenzo, thanks for joining us today.
And I appreciate that, Noah. Join. I appreciate you having me on, and can't wait to go through this process today.
Yeah, it's good to have you again. A year ago at this time, Bjorn and I just started the Sweat Room Sports and Faith podcast. We had no idea what we were doing. You were our first guest. So it's good to see you again. I know right now you're in Arizona, but one of the things that we know about you, yes, you played for the Buffalo Bills. So what was one of your favorite memories being a Buffalo Bill?
Well, I mean, I have a ton of them. You mentioned a few of them as far as winning the Pro Bowl MVP, but I think the year after that, when people thought we had punted on the season, I think we traded away Darius, Sammy Watkins. It was Sean McDermott's first year. He's a rookie head coach. And people just gave us no chance. And we had a lot of guys that were, blue collar guys like myself that had been around the league for a while, but not superstar status. And we were able to break that 17-year curse, collectively as a team and really battle through a lot of adversity and overcome a lot of things. And that was probably my biggest and funnest most memory, just because it was, it took everybody to accomplish that, including Bills Mafia.
Yeah. And you got to witness the beginning of the new era. Not trying to do that because Jake's background's new era feel, but really it's the start of something new. So that's exciting. So we know that you're in Arizona now. During the winter, I get very jealous of that. So what do you miss? I know, even though you're in Arizona, what do you miss about being in the city of Buffalo itself?
The relationships. That's probably the most impactful thing that really shocked me moving there. Just the camaraderie. And the emphasis on being a great neighbor, just out here recently with a couple of, not a couple, it was probably about 150 or so people that were connected to the Buffalo Bills. There was a family whose mom passed, and this was the inaugural 5K. And out here in the Phoenix area, they all came together and raised $5,000 this past weekend for Phoenix Children's Hospital by the way they were treated. And so just that embodiment of relationship and caring for one another, I think that's the biggest thing that I miss, because it's very unique and it's different. You can get that at other places, but it's very different in Buffalo as far as the way people come together around causes, especially what we've seen with Josh's grandmother, Andy Dalton. And those are just some of the big things. There's things that are done every day on a smaller scale. You think about a guy like Del Reed, just the way people come together and impact the community. So that by far is the biggest thing that I miss.
Yeah, and when I first moved here, I didn't really understand that about Buffalo, but Bjorn reminded me that this is the city of good neighbors, and that is just another great point of that. So this is going to be a big season, and a lot of people are thinking Super Bowl for the Buffalo Bills. Lorenzo, what is your expectation for the Buffalo Bills this year?
Yeah, I mean, Super Bowl. I mean, you gotta take that next step. These windows don't come along very often. And they only stay open, especially in the day and era when you think about free agency and salary cap, as long as you can keep your nucleus of guys together. I mean, because at the end of the day, that's why you used to have all those big time dynasties. You think about the Niners, think about Dallas, Steelers, Green Bay. They were able to keep a collection of guys together for a significant amount of time. Even back, in the early 90s when Buffalo was making those runs, 4 consecutive Super Bowls, they had a nucleus of guys that stayed together for the majority of that time. These guys that came in and out, but that. And so I say that because, Next year, the salary cap is going to go back up because you won't have a COVID year.
Yep.
You're probably going to have to pay Josh Allen, so you no longer be on his rookie deal, and that's going to take an exorbitant amount of the salary cap. And so then you have to start making tough decisions. You know, can we maintain Tremaine Edmonds? Do we have to try to renegotiate some other guys' deals? And so that's when it becomes a little bit harder. And so they have to take advantage of it this year, maybe the year after that. Because the window is so finite, and then you just don't know what people want to do after that, as far as free agents and moving forward.
That's so good. And I know for you, you've played for quite a few different teams. I mentioned a few of them before: Redskins, Raiders, the Panthers. What makes the Buffalo Bills different than any other team in the NFL?
And you know, and it's changed a lot, because I don't think it's always been like this. But I think with the Pagulas becoming the owners, bringing in Sean McDermott. It was after my second year there, and then Brandon Beane. They've really been able to develop a structure from top down, as far as winning, caring about people, caring about families, and being smart about the process, not necessarily being caught up in how things were always done, right? Moving with the times and trying to figure out the best ways to really operate in the world that we live in. And so, you know, Sean is not always about grind all the time, which is a place for that. But how can we work smarter so that our guys are out there being healthy? How can we support our guys and their families so that our guys aren't worried about what's going on at home? And so one of the things that I love is that I was able to bring my kids to work with me on days off, during the off season, and they became a part of the process too. And that made it that much better, because I felt like this was home, this was family. I could bring my actual family up there. So I was willing to go the extra mile and do things of that nature. And then I think just the Pagulas investing, doing a great job, not penny pitching like you'll have some owners do. Because if you want to do anything in life, you have to sacrifice and invest. And obviously in our type of business, that usually is money that leads to better facilities, better stadium, better personnel. And when you have that support staff that you've invested in, it creates a better infrastructure and environment for sustainable winning, not just like these one-hit wonders that you'll see a team pop up and then fade off again. Similar to like the Jaguars or something like that.
Totally. And I know for you, Lorenzo, you've really seen a lot change. Even in your time in the NFL, you've played with some legends. You're a leader yourself. You've kind of seen the evolution of the game, especially in terms of protocol, so much more. But one of the things about you that's really distinct about you is you're a follower of Christ. I'd love for you to tell everybody, how did you come to know Christ? And maybe finish, what is your favorite Bible verse as well? I'd love to know that as well.
Yeah. Well, Christ has always been working on me, sending people in and out of my life, kind of planting that seed and watering it. But I didn't make the decision for myself until I was in the league. I had my grandmother that I went to church with, but I didn't really make it my own until after I experienced, you mentioned playing for the Washington football team, Sean Taylor, one of the greatest safeties I've ever seen play and be around, was murdered. And I think we were 24 at the time. And that really brought some mortality in my life. But I think, when you're young, obviously, playing the NFL, you're probably kind of at the peak of athleticism and strength. You kind of feel invincible. Yeah. And that really brought death as a reality into my life and made me do some soul searching and really reflect on who I was and what type of legacy I had left, the people I had impacted. And it really was, I couldn't speak of much of anything. And actually, kind of doing that same time, just living with a lot of regret, the way I was living my life, a lot of duality, very professional and structured in my professional life, but away from football, my life was all over the place. It was in shambles. As far as relationship with women, drinking, just not being very disciplined in any aspect of my life. And so being around godly men that really walked it, lived it every single day. And it wasn't something that they were consciously doing because they had given their heart to Christ and it was just falling or oozing out of them. When I was in Washington, I think of guys like Renaldo Wynn, James Thrash, Antoine Randall, guys that there was something different about them. And having those guys and being in that environment with them, having the horrific incident with Sean Taylor happening really pushed me closer to Christ and put me in a position where I was ready to surrender my life and follow a life of Christ and be a servant and try to die to myself every single day. And I'm still working on that, still growing in that. That happened in 2008. But it's a lifelong commitment, and I will, that's probably the greatest thing I've ever done for myself as far as me, my family, my community, and the impact that I can do, and now allowing Christ to live inside me and work through me. And also my biggest regret, understanding where it has placed me and given me some authority with standing on Christ's shoulders, is that I waited so long. I waited till I was 24, 25 to make that decision, where I was operating at such a lower level because I was trying to do everything on my own power and understanding and will, and not utilizing the spirit and power of Christ and trying to live a righteous life. That it's hard to do. It's, you feel like it's all these constraints, but it's putting you on a path to maximize your ability while you're honoring him and impact people, driving them closer to him while you're doing it.
That's so good. And I encourage all of you that are watching this today, after this, if you guys love football, just put in Sean Taylor highlights. If maybe some of you don't know who he is, but he was a baller safety. He was so good. Highly encourage you to go check that out. But one of the things about you, Lorenzo, is you end up being a captain, you're a leader. To you, what makes a good leader? And who is someone you played with that was a great leader, and why?
Yeah, I think your best leaders are obviously servants. They lead by serving others. Whether that's coaching guys up, whether that's picking up stuff in the locker room, whether that's helping a guy learn his plays, whether that's going out in the community and doing food banks and things of that nature. I think your best servants are best leaders are servants. And then second of all, I think number two, I think they're humble, right? They don't think they have all the answers, and they're willing to listen and bring people in to help them create an environment conducive to accomplishing whatever you want to do, be successful. And so those are probably the two biggest ones that I can think of, kind of off the cuff. As far, I've been around some real great leaders. From Kyle Williams to London Fletcher. But I think I want to highlight Sean McDermott, because I think oftentimes coaches, especially, have an ego, and a head coach in themselves have this power where it's my way or the highway, and you need to do as I say, not as I do type of mentality. And I think Sean, more so than any other coach that I've ever played for. When I played for Joe Gibbs, who is a warrior for Christ, I played for some other coaches that were Christians, but the way he emphasizes it and displays it, even when people aren't looking, is really cool to watch. Just to watch, you see a head coach, in the locker room, picking up sweaty towels and water bottles, right? Making sure things are clean. The way that he reaches out and talks to people's families and gets to know them and know them by their name. The way he's out in the community. The way he allows players and coaches to speak into his life as far as what he may be doing wrong. And that's hard to do. It's hard to take criticism, especially when you're the head man, and be able to receive it, internalize it, work through, kind of some of your selfish pride and ego issues, and then come out on the other side better for it. And so I think Sean McDermott is probably one of the better leaders that I've been around the most recently.
Wow, that's so good. And I what's going on with the Buffalo Bills behind the scenes is incredible. You can tell God is just doing some incredible things, and that's showing on and off the field.
Yeah, to your point on that, before we switch gears, that it's the only team where our team chaplain that I've ever been a part of is like a coach, where he can go anywhere in the building. He's in all of our meetings. He eats with us. He's full-time. He's there all day. Holds Bible studies. They make it part of the schedule. And so Sean is real adamant, not just being a Christian, but making sure that he is creating an environment where he can raise up other great leaders that can then find Christ.
Wow.
Because he truly understands, if you are a better man, and obviously Christ accelerates that process,
right?
That everything else you do is going to be more fruitful. Husband, whether you're a coach or player, everything you do is going to be so much more fruitful, and you're going to create a great environment where people want to be in, to the point of what you're talking about sensing that there's something different about the Buffalo Bills organization now. And it's because I think that's the main reason right there.
Yeah, I love that. And we've gotten to know Len a little bit, and man,
Yeah.
he hates when I say this, but he really is the unsung hero of that place. Like
Right. Yeah.
he
Yeah.
hates it. He's like, don't even say that. But it's true.
Right.
He's just such a godly guy, and a lot of things that he's doing, and with Coach McDermott, it's awesome. So this week, Lorenzo, the, all of these young athletes are going through the New Testament in 100 days, which is remarkable.
Wow. Yeah.
And so this week we were going through the book of Acts, and one of the things in the devotional earlier this week, it talked about NFL athletes and how just how being at the top of your game, it's just not fulfilling. And I want to read this to you real quick, and to all of you, just maybe you glanced over it, but I want to remind you that it just talks about how 78% of NFL players filed bankruptcy and struggle financially once they retire. And again, the point of this week's devotional is that no amount of athletic success, fame, or winning is fulfilling. So, Lorenzo, I'd love to ask you this question. How do you stay anchored in your identity in Christ when you were in the NFL, and how do you maintain that and even post NFL and being retired?
Yeah. I mean, you have to stay in your word. You have to constantly remind yourself that you're a servant. And I think when you put yourself in that position, it helps you just position yourself and give you real perspective. Obviously, the blessings that we have, but then also I think understanding that it's really not under your own power, and that God has moved and blessed us in so many different ways. And you have to be intentional about it, because the fame, the money, all that stuff is very seductive, right? And can easily become your idol in a lot of ways, and shifts your eyes from Christ and your foundation in very subtle ways. And Lynn put this, it might have been, I think it was Lynn, but like if you've ever been in like a swimming pool, right? And you're like in an inner tube, and you may start at the center of the pool, and then you've closed your eyes, right? And just kind of just laying there relaxing. And then you wake up because you kind of bump into something, and your eyes open, and you're on the side of the swimming pool, right? You're no longer in the middle, and it was so gradual that you couldn't even feel it. And that's what the money and fame can do to you as who you think you are, your identity, if you're not intentional about fighting against that. And so, staying in your word, putting yourself around godly men, putting yourself around people that have been where you want to go, and helping other guys younger, creating that sense of accountability. I think it's all different ways of helping, or that has helped me manage my money well. And it's not an athlete issue, right? It is a human issue. And you give anybody, you give somebody $1,000 right now, right? If they're not grounded right and in the right place, they're gonna blow that $1,000. And so it only magnifies, you just buy something bigger if their foundation hasn't been grounded in properly. And so for me, it's just always returning to the word, making sure that I'm around people that I've allowed to hold me accountable, and then just staying true to who God has called me to be. And that's why I always, and you asked me what my favorite scripture is, Second Timothy 1-7. God didn't give me a spirit of fear, but of love, power, and a sound mind. And just always trying to go back to that, anytime that I'm operating, what am I operating out of? Is it fear? Or have I talked to God about this? Have I visited his word and see how he can help me through this process? And especially when you're dealing with money, but that's really with any decision that you ever would make in life.
Wow, good word. And man, gotta get you on the pulpit at some point. That was some good stuff right there. But I think right what you were talking about, how, and I think that applies even not all of us, none of us are in the NFL right now, but that inner tube analogy is, it's so easy just to drift away and not even, sometimes you don't realize it. And I'm
don't
sure
realize it.
with
Right.
money and success, I can't imagine that. So that's so good. So Lorenzo, we know last few questions, and I know you got to go coach, you got to do your thing.
You good? Yeah.
So finishing up, you're retired. What has been one of your favorite things so far being retired? You've only been retired for one season. Do you still?
Yeah, it's been a blast, right? It's been a blast. I've gotten all the, like we opened up with, hey, everybody, let Lorenzo come back. I am done with football. I'm so far done with it. It's one of the few games, and I was talking to a good friend of mine the other day. boxing and football is one of the things that you can't say, I'm gonna walk away, and you have a couple of guys like Gronk, but they're receivers, they're soft, they're finesse players that have done it. Like, I'm gonna walk away from hitting guys the way I hit guys and then try to come back a year later and say, I want to do it again. More so, and I think this is life, it's more mental than anything. Like, when I've walked away from the game, I'm like, man, what we were doing was crazy, man. Running down at full tilt and trying to run through guys and then go make a tackle, that is insane. And there's no way I'm putting my body back through that.
Yeah.
And so I've actually really enjoyed being a coach, being on the sidelines, watching my kids play flag football, coaching them in basketball, be able to go to Hawaii with my wife for a week and not have to worry about, do I got to train, make all these, set up appointments to find a facility, a massage therapist. I can just go, hang, let my hair down, relax with her, and just be there. So that's probably been the best part about it, not having to prepare for something. And, and it's a little double-edged sword there too, because that's one of the things that most guys struggle with too. So trying to create some type of routine in that process as well. But that's been cool, just being able to coach, not have to go in the facility, watching my kids grow. I really enjoy seeing the incremental growth on a day-to-day basis, not only in my kids, but, we have a family here in Arcadia, Phoenix area where I live, where it's probably like 8 to 12 young men that we've been coaching in football and basketball and really helping cultivating them as young athletes and young men and seeing their growth, or, working through that adversity as far as them maybe not paying attention or lose sight, but really helping them through that process to get to the other end has really been, has really filled my cup in a lot of ways and really what I've been called to do. So I'm living my dream. I'm actually living my purpose right now, more so than when I played football. Football was a vehicle for me to do that. But football was more of a vehicle is the way I see it. And now I'm just switching vehicles as a coach. Instead of being an athlete, now I'm just on the other end of it, coaching people and helping them become the best version of themselves, little by little, one day at a time by leading them to Christ.
Yeah. And I'm excited just to see how God's going to continue just to use you and just your leadership, because you've touched so many in the Buffalo community and you're continuing to do that even now here being on Zoom and just where you're at with your family and the athletes. You look out for, when Jesus talks about looking out for the one, you have a good ability of doing that. So that's awesome. So Lorenzo, thanks for joining us. The last question, do you have any just last words of encouragement for our high school, middle school athletes, and just maybe best piece of advice of living out their faith in the locker room?
Yeah, I know, it's so much that I can go to. I think the biggest thing is remembering that it's a journey. I think as just our society today is so much about, microwave success and, showcasing who you are on Instagram. You get these little snippets that can be manipulated in a lot of ways. And that's not really what life is all about, right? It is a true process of what Sean McDermott talks about, that daily process, that daily grind, dying to yourself on a daily basis. So I would just say, live in the moment, take it day by day, whatever words you may be going through, and just honing in on one or two things and working with those things, and not necessarily having to put this facade up on Instagram, but having your close friends with you and walking through life with those friends and dying to yourselves daily as you move closer to Christ. And then as far as the locker room, the one thing I've noticed, and it's harder to do this when you're younger because society shapes a lot of who we are and we're not quite confident to step or be counterculture in the locker room. But this is what I found to be true, because even in the locker room in the NFL level, you get a lot of guys that live by the culture, and it can be awkward if you're a Christian and outwardly speaking about it. But if you are true to who you are every single day, people learn to respect you because they know it's consistent. A lot of times people make fun of you or try to push you a little bit because they don't think it's real. And so if this is who you are and you're generally trying to pick up your cross day to day, every single day, it may be hard in the beginning, but stick with it. I guarantee you will impact them by the way you react to them, in a loving way. And they'll get to see that this is who you really are, that you are not this, I'm going to hit you over the Bible when we're in the locker room, but, on the weekends, there may be a party after the game and you're doing something that's counterculture. Not to say that you can't make mistakes, but just being true to who you are and trying to keep that as close as possible. And that's the process, right? That's what I'm talking about. You have and they marry each other. So the only way you can be true to who you are in the locker room on a daily basis is by picking up your cross every single day and being intentional about walking with Christ. And those two things are synonymous and work together, and therefore your life in the locker room and the people around you, as far as how they respect you and who they think of you, will get easier. Because I know it's hard to be a Christian really in society as overall, but especially a locker room sometimes. And then you'll have those same people that were making fun of you come over to you when you're not thinking nothing of it and ask you a question. And that's the ultimate goal. And then that's your opening to obviously share who Jesus Christ was and what he means for you, and what he means to them.
Good word. Well, Lorenzo, thank you for joining us today. And I hope all of you really enjoyed what Lorenzo had to say. Everyone give a round of applause for Lorenzo Alexander. Lorenzo, thanks for joining us today, and go have fun coaching.
I appreciate you guys. I'll see you later.
See you later. Jake, off to you.
Love it. Man, that was good stuff. That's fire right there. It's really a privilege to hear from Lorenzo. That's like a once in a generation leader right there. So this is good stuff. We're recording this call, and I know some people couldn't make it because we had the earlier start. Thanks for being flexible, guys. But I'm gonna make sure we send that out because that's really good stuff. Hey, we're gonna go to breakout rooms. We got a Kahoot winner to announce. Before we do that, another special announcement from the FCA board. Okay, we had some donors that got super excited about what's going on. They found out we have like 130, 140 Western New York athletes reading the Bible, crushing it, pushing through, even when it's tough, commenting, sharing with their friends, doing challenges. And they were like, the eight 4-packs of Bills tickets that we want to give away, they were like, that's not enough. So we're going to double up on that. We got 64 tickets to give away now. 64 tickets. We're giving them away in packs of 2. All right. So that means 32 of you guys, if you complete this program, are going to win some tickets. It's going to be unbelievable. So shout out to Tim Fancher, Jeff Fancher, the FCA board. Love you guys so much, making this happen. Guys, this has been such a great experience. Like, you guys are on fire for the Lord. Tim, do you want to say anything? I don't know if Jeff's on here, but I'm going to unmute you, Tim, real quick, if you want to say anything. Let me see if Jeff's on here too.
Yeah, guys, I just wanted to say I really appreciated Zoe's thoughts on humility and servant leadership, because that's the dynamic when, I've had the opportunity to coach. And when I think about athletes that are 10, 11, 12, 15, 16, the majority of you guys, when you think about where you are, developing your character, developing your integrity, and those things you can learn through digging into the word and understanding exactly what Zoe said about humility. That is a very important dynamic for your whole life. Just be humble, be a servant leader, but also too, the word will show you so many verses about that. And when he said 2 Timothy 1:7, that was pretty profound. So I really appreciated his thoughts today. So Jake, thank you. And guys, stick with this thing. We got a bunch of Bills tickets for you. Let's go.
Go, Jeff. Jeff, what do you got?
Jaffer, I got 2 Timothy 1:7 real quick.
Buffering.
I don't know if you can hear me. Who knows? Guys, hey. Where's Mom?
He said he gave us a thumbs up.
Thumbs up.
All right.
Let me give you Zoe's verse that he referenced, because this is really good. 2 Timothy 1:7. For the Spirit God gave us does not make us timid, but gives us power, love, and self-discipline. That's huge. That's a great verse.
Massive.
Thanks, Tim.
So proud of you guys. Keep this up. Keep going. It's great.
Amen.
We're over a third of the way through.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Big Daddy Bjorn, what do you got?
Yes, sir. So we have another Kahoot winner. This week's Kahoot winner, drum roll, please. Yeah, I can't really hear a whole lot there, but there's a drum roll happening. The winner of the Kahoot challenge this week is Alexander L. So congrats, Alex. Great work this week. Reminder, guys, every Friday, we're going to send out an email, a Kahoot. It's a little trivia game about our guest for that week. So this past Kahoot was all about Lorenzo Alexander. He answered some fun questions for us, got to get to know him a little bit. And the winner each week, they get one extra drawing for those Bills tickets. And now it looks like there's even greater chance of you winning those tickets because we've got a ton of them coming your way. So Alex, great work this week. And I'm excited to see some other names pop up there as winners here in the future.
Sounds good. All right. Well, hey, we're going to go to some breakout rooms. We do have some people joining late, so I might have a few that get into your rooms late, but everyone else should be in your room already. So I'm going to send it. And guys, we'll see you next week. Hope you guys have a great week in the Lord and keep reading. You guys are crushing it. Talk to you soon.
Sweet. Nice job, Jake.
Thanks, Tim.
All right, I'll see you, buddy.
Yeah. All right. If you're in this room, I'm going to send you to your room in just a second. Okay. We had a couple that joined a little late. And if you got if you get the notification to go to a breakout room, just click yes. So I'm going to send you Caroline, Cole. Let's see. All right. We're going to Denelli. And all right, so a couple that I'm not sure where to go. We got, all right, I'm just going to ask everyone that's in here to unmute real quick. And then you can let me know. There you go. All right.
I'm in Noah's group.
Oh, sweet. Really good.
I'm in Riley's group.
Okay. So you were in the wrong one. Okay. Let's see. All right. Should be good. All right. So Carolyn.
Yeah, I was in the wrong breakout room. I don't know what happened.
Okay. Where are you supposed to be?
I actually don't know her name. Like, I definitely should, but I don't know what her name is.
Was it Lydia from last week?
I think so.
Okay. Do you go to Evangel?
No,
You don't. Okay.
but that's the group I was in.
Okay. So it's just Jordan who's there today. So he should be in there. So he's filling in for Lydia. So you can just go back to your group there.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I thought I was in the wrong one.
No problem.
Thank you.
Jordan, just go back to your group. They're all sitting in there waiting. Dima, what's going on? All right. Dima, you should be able to just, oh, okay, I see what, Vinny? All right, I'm gonna ask you guys all to unmute. Jordan, can you just go back to your group?
I don't know how.
I'm not in this group. I'm with the group Jake Riley. I just logged on, so
All right, you should get it.
okay. I'm gonna join.
All right. Emma, are you there?
I don't know how to join my group again, Jake.
Dude, just look at the bottom where it says like go to more and then go to like breakout rooms or something like that.
Do I lead the meeting?
Yeah, are you done?
Yeah, we are.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Okay, thank you.
See you, man.
Yeah, I don't have a more thing, bro.
Are you guys done? Are your rooms done? All right, you guys can log off. We'll see you next week, all right? See you, Trace. Good job with your trick shot.
Can you send me there, bro?
Well, see the thing. Oh, okay. All right. That work?
Thanks.
All right. Hey, Nick, which room are you supposed to be in?
With Jordan C alone.
Okay. Just sent, so you should get it. Like they're not getting the emails. So the Bible app thing? Hey, what's up, man? Is this Connor?
Yeah.
Okay. Which group are you in?
I'm not sure. Last time they put me in a group with a bunch of other people that didn't know what their leader was.
Okay. Gotcha. So I have you in a group with like Dimitri, Jackson, John, Sam, Jamie, Josh. Do you know anyone that helped you sign up for this?
No.
How did you learn about the training camp?
Oh, it was my friend,
What's his name?
Caden Riggs.
Riggs?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. I'm probably gonna I know he has. I don't know if he's been on the calls, but do you know anybody else that's in training camps? Maybe I'll put you in one of their groups.
No.
Okay. Where do you go to school?
Transit.
Transit. Where do you go to church?
Eastern Hills.
Oh baby. All right. I'm gonna switch you to our Eastern Hills group
Okay.
with Jake Riley. So is your name Connor or Ryan?
Connor.
Connor. Okay. All right. I'm gonna switch it right now, and I'm just gonna send you to Jake's group, and I'll let him know you're coming. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Those are like the most dialed in ones of them all. What up, Jess?
I was like, you gotta unmute me.
I know.
Yeah.
Pretty good. Living the dream. How was it?
Hi.
Hi.
Hi, sorry, I couldn't find the link.
No problem. So your Zoom says Joshua Joseph, but what's your real name?
Oh, sorry, Josephina.
Josephina. What is up? All right, let me see. Do you know whose group you're in before I search it all?
Lydia.
Okay, sweet. So Pastor Jordan is filling in today, so I'll send you right over.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I figured I'd stick around to see if any of the other kids show up. My group doesn't speak. I like to keep them on as long as possible, but they never speak. So I'm just speaking to like a dead screen. And I can only do that for so long.
What do they do?
Well, so I ask them like about the readings. I usually go over the questions from the first devotional and stuff. Talk about my week and maybe an experience I had with God. And then I ask them if there's anything they've experienced, and they just kind of stare at me.
Are they like on video, or are they not?
They're on video. They just don't speak. They're all from the chapel, so they should know each other.
Seriously. Oh my God. What do you think we should do?
I don't even know. And like, I've even tried calling on them to make them talk, and they're just like, I don't know. And I'm like, okay, good talk.
Jeez.
The weirdest thing. Usually I have a few, but there was some missing today. Usually it's Ella Fancher, so her dad just spoke. She usually speaks, but she had a soccer game, so she had to leave immediately. So usually I get like one that speaks.
Gotcha.
Everyone else just kind of stares at me, and I'm like, all right, cool. I joked with them. I was like, I'm gonna see you guys on the Bills field and know nothing about you because you guys don't talk to me.
I'm sorry.
It's all good.
What's up, Melissa?
I meant to leave, but I came back, I guess.
How did it go?
You know, they're young, the 6th and 7th grade girls, so they're really quiet. They're timid. They're having a hard time reading. It's a lot for them.
Yeah.
This week I said, you know, even if you just read like 2 or 3 verses out of that reading and stop and ask Jesus to just show you one thing, you know, that's enough. So I don't want them to give up or feel bad.
I know.
So
I was just talking to Jess, you know, because she had a group too, and she said none of them were talking. So I'm like, oh, what should we do? I mean, it's good to have them in the groups, but it's like, oh, it's super hard.
Yeah, I think if we met in person, like I would right now, like my kids' soccer and gymnastics, like everything's going into state cup, like competitions and all this stuff right now. So it's a little crazy. But the first time we met, I asked the girls, would you want to do like a community service project together so we can meet in person? Because we make lunches for homeless every Saturday at our church. I thought, oh, we could do that. But yeah, I think it would help if we met once, if as leaders, we could meet with our kids just once, maybe they would feel more comfortable on Zoom. So yeah, I know some people can do it, some people can't, but.
Yeah, I hear you. I think we're trying to plan like an in-person like pizza party / dodgeball thing. I think it's going to be in like May. Maybe that'll help get things going. We'll probably do like a girls tournament and then a boys tournament after or something like that. So
Yeah, with the weather getting nicer, I mean, we technically, I mean, just even having like a kickball game outside, and bringing kids together, it would be super fun. There's not much going on.
yeah.
So yeah, that'd be great. The girls, they're really cute. They're very sweet, but they're quiet.
Yeah. Sweet.
All right. Well, have a good night.
Thanks, Melissa. Thanks for all you do.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.
How's your week been? How's work?
It's pretty busy. I got to go to Kansas City tomorrow. So
What for? That's crazy.
yeah, it's for work. We have like a training that we have to go to a couple times a year. So that's where our headquarters is for FCA.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So it's a lot of fun, but it's a grind. And then that means I got to leave Rebecca with all the kids. And then like, plus I have, a lot of my own work to do besides like just going sitting at this training. They expect us to just pause our jobs. So definitely it's definitely been a crazy week, but.
Wow. Is it long? Like is it a week? The training?
It's Monday through Friday.
Oh, wow. So they take you away for a week. That's crazy.
Yeah. But
well, if Rebecca needs any help or anything, I mean, you can tell her to reach out. I feel bad.
yeah, I know you're busy too, but yeah, if you want to check in on her at all, like
for sure.
That'd be awesome.
For sure. How are the kids doing?
Good. Oh yeah. Yeah, they're doing great. They're just grinding, they're awesome. So
that's good. So you said they're homeschooled now? They're not at the school anymore?
Yeah, she homeschools them at Strong Academy.
Gotcha.
Some people, like not like there's a few kids that still go to Strong, but a lot of them went back like to their schools and stuff like that. So
gotcha. So it's a slow year for Strong.
Yeah. So it was crazy with all the COVID and everything, but yeah, she's doing good. And how about you? How's school going and stuff?
It's good. It's almost over. I only have like 2 more weeks left, so I'm super excited.
That's awesome.
It's been a weird semester because normally I've just been used to the normal schooling of like you do homeworks, then you got tests and stuff like that. Whereas this semester I have a lot of group projects, which are like the main part of my grade. So it's more working